you are requiring safety, are you then also saying that you're still in your victim state? Hello, everybody, and welcome to Spirituality Gone Wild and a special edition of Gratitude EQ. That's Gratitude Intelligence for all of you newbies out there. Today, I have a very special guest. We have one of the authors of an extraordinary new book that's out. It's called Reimagined, Awareness Reimagined. Of course, I almost blundered that. Unlocking Joy Through Language. This is an extraordinary book, and we're going to dive deep into it. Let me tell you about Chris Palmore. First off, gratitude's his religion. Every moment's a welcoming gift. Every experience is a sacred event. Chris, aka the Gratitude Junkie, is a best-selling author of The Mechanics of Gratitude, Little Book of Grief, Grace and Gratitude, The Stoics Guide, 30 Days to Love Your Life, which I have as well. And it's a great book. As a gratitude conductor, coach, and keynote speaker, he has created anthologies, Dear 2020, Letters to a Year That Changed Everything, and Dear Gratitude, an anthology published. And he's published the journal Gratitude Journey, founded the nonprofit Gratitude Space Incorporated, and hosts Gratitude Space Radio. That's a whole lot of stuff. Welcome to the stage, Chris.
Thanks.
Palmore.
That was a mouthful. Yeah, I guess I have been busy.
You've been so busy. What's up with you? It's been a minute.
Yeah. I guess when you hear somebody else talk about what you've been doing for the last decade, it does feel good. It does feel like I definitely haven't been sitting on my hands.
Oh, I'm like, because if we sit on our hands, we go a little bit numb. So
yeah, exactly.
You know what? One of the things I love is that I love the story about why that practicing gratitude is such a passion for you. And before that, we get into this really great new book, and I have your other one right behind me as well. I really want you to tell everybody why this is such an important practice.
Okay. Well, I mean, there's a lot of different ways I could go with that question. So let's see, with fresh perspective. Recently, because I think about these things all the time, and I think a lot of people, it's a practice, it's a habit, and it will change your life, not only your life, but the people around you. So if you're wanting to have a better perspective in life, you're wanting to find more joy in life, then gratitude is an answer to that question. It will not take away your problems. It will not erase grief, but it will assist you in handling the situation better. Recently, I put a video together because I've been, I do a lot of writing, and I thought of like gratitude as like it's like resetting the scales. So the idea to me was that if you decide to practice gratitude, you could do that whenever you want to. But for what I'm sharing here, we'd say in the morning, if you decided to have some sort of gratitude practice, basically all you're doing is you're resetting the scales. So what you're doing is you're initially resetting the scales, and the more you do that, you're actually going to offset the scales, so that throughout your day you're not so far away mentally to realize that life isn't that bad, that you have a lot of things to be grateful for. And that's the reason you do it. You're reminding yourself, because we forget so quick how good it is, and start focusing on whatever the bad, whatever we've labeled, whatever's going on in our life at that moment, that we forget that this moment is not our life, that this is just a moment. But the more you practice gratitude, the closer you are to remembering, because you've reminded yourself you got a lot to be grateful for. And I think that's my loaded answer.
That's pretty loaded. I'm kind of digging it. I love the fact, oh my God, look at your cup. Can you all just get a load of that? I just choose to be grateful. I have to have one of those, Chris. I don't even know what's up with you.
If I find another one at Burlington, I did send one to Bobby. If I do find another one, I will secretly get it to you for sure.
Okay. I'm going to hold you to that. So one of the things that I love that you do is called Gratitude Infusion. For those of you watching right now and watching on the replays, I want you to take a gander at this. And then, Chris, I'm going to have you give out the phone number. We're going to put it across the screen. You guys can sign up that way. But really quickly, I just want to bring this up here. And I want to play this for everybody. Take a listen.
Joining daily gratitude infusions is quick and easy. First, text 502-289-6799. Then, type the special word that was shared with you earlier. Finally, hit send. After you hit send, you'll get an instant reply saying, "Hi, this is Gratitude Space." You're almost signed up. Just one more step to go. Click the link below to finish and start receiving your daily gratitude infusions. It's quick and easy. The most important step is clicking the link. You're almost there. All right, so once you click the link, just fill out the brief form with your details. When you get to the city field, type the first letter of your city, and a drop-down list will appear. Pretty simple, right? Once completed, you'll receive a welcome text message, officially joining the Gratitude Space texting community. And just like that, you're in. Now feel free to share this with someone who could use a daily boost of gratitude. With appreciation, Chris Palmore, the Gratitude Junkie.
Thanks for playing that. I hadn't listened to that in a while. I was like, that's me.
That's you. Well, I love it. And I want to just show everybody. So what you do is you text that, and then every day you get something beautiful like this. And this one today says, Gratitude Infusion. Gratitude is an opener. Gratitude is an opener of locked up blessings. Anonymous. What blessings might gratitude unlock for me today? That's just today. Yesterday was breathing is a miracle. You breathe, your breath moves through you at 23,000 times a day, keeping you alive, vital, and connected. It's happening right now. Pause, feel it, appreciate this miracle. How can I honor the gift of breath today? So the beautiful part about this is that we all need a reminder. Yes, I'm going to put the number across the screen right now. Actually, Chris, can you just type that in and I'll put it across the screen?
Sure.
Awesome. Thank you. So everybody, gratitudespace.com, gratitudespace.com. This is a place where you can go and find all of Chris, his literature and all of his work, which we're going to be getting into and discussing. One of his co-writers is not here, but he will be joining us, Bobby Coutts, on another episode. And but for today, we're going to take a dive into an extraordinary book. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and put across the screen for all of you, because I know you want this. I know I love this. Okay. And this is for Gratitude Infusion Daily. Okay. All right. And I'm going to stop that banner. So if you didn't get that website, no worry. I'll put that right back up. And in the meantime, Gratitude Infusion 502-289-6799. You want to text Joy25, Joy25 for those of you listening on the podcast. So I'm going to leave that going across the screen. Okie dokie stokey.
Thank you, because I do love that. That's I've talked, if I only had one trick up my sleeve, if I only had one play, it would totally be the gratitude infusions. 100%.
I totally know that that's true. Okay, so we're going to get into this book here. This is Awareness Reimagined, Unlocking Joy Through Language. It's a collaborative work by Chris Palmore right here and Bobby Coutts. This book offers an A to Z exploration of words, each serving as a lens to examine and deepen our understanding of gratitude, presence, and emotional resilience, which I completely love. The key themes that we're going to look at today are language as a tool for transformation, reframing adversity, embracing emotional complexity, practical applications. Okay. And this is the book. And so before that, we get into language as a tool for transformation, and we have you explain that a little bit more. I'm going to just take a little gander. And okay. I'm just going to do a little open. We'll go to dolphins.
Dolphins. All right.
Dolphins. They're smile makers. In art, we often start with small, seemingly dots. In art, we often start with small, seemingly insignificant dots or sections of paint that, when combined, create a cohesive and beautiful picture. Though simple, these dots connect to form intricate patterns and vibrant images, revealing a larger vision. This artistic process mirrors how we approach our lives. I love that. So, why don't you expand on that, and then we'll go a little bit deeper into some of my questions.
Okay, well, the book layout, we got four amazing ladies to write. We wanted to bring a couple other voices in, so we got four amazing ladies to write their own essays. So Dots is from my friend Elaine Party, wrote that, and that's her jam. Basically, is
That's her
helping
jam.
people express these connections and seeing them in a broader way. So. Yeah, so and then the dolphins thing, because people can't see the book. I'm one of the admins for a really big Facebook gratitude group, and I post a lot of stuff, and I look for a lot of things too, mind you. I know Debbie gets that too. So I always look. I've been looking and collecting people's real gratitudes. When I mean real gratitude, I mean people that tell a story with their gratitude. They don't just say, "I like the color blue. I'm grateful for it," because that doesn't really give me anything to go on. So what I did is we made an alphabet. Not only is there, there's an essay, there's a positive and negative connotation of a word where Bobby and I take turns for each letter. So if I have the positive word on A, he has the positive word on B. And when I mean positive, I mean the negative words are words that people think are negative, like scared or sad, stuff like that, but we give a spin. So we express that there are positive traits within these emotions or things per se. So, but in between all of ours are people's real gratitudes. So the
Yeah.
dolphin smile makers is somebody that posted that online, because I did the gratitude alphabet several times, and we're collecting I'd bookmark them, go back to them, and collect them. So not only are it's not a book where you're just reading a whole bunch of essays. You're actually, each letter has a whole bunch of people sharing their definitions of these words. And the reason I got the definitions is because I asked specifically, like, what are you grateful for? It starts with the letter K. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So then people would say whatever, and that's how we filled it out. So it's not only Bobby and I, there's four other authors, and then there's a couple hundred people that didn't know they were part of the book. I only used their initials. So that we could have these real authentic gratitude. Because I love reading lists of authentic real people that actually are expressing authentic real gratitude that actually has a story behind it, or you could tell there's a message there instead of just an ABC list.
And so I love that. I love that. So what you're doing is you're encouraging people to shift their perspective on a word that may have a negative connotation, and also reaffirming the practices of gratitude within that perspective shift.
Yes, because dark things have light in them. You can find things, emotions that you're feeling or things that are happening. You can read into that and decide what you want to do with that. You can take it as a message instead of a punishment, and decide how you feel and what you want to do about it. I think one of the metaphors, I'm just kind of off the top of my head, is like a lot of people, it's like they go down, they have it, like, for example, they're going on they have a plan, they're going on vacation. Okay, we're going to get in the car, we're going to go to Disneyland. Okay, so we're driving to Florida. Okay, and in life, like anything, things don't happen the way you want to. Say your car breaks down. Okay, so this is a metaphor for life. When things trouble you, when the car breaks down, you don't just decide to live in the car. You don't decide this is the end of the road. You don't decide, okay, this is it. We're here. We're going to use Uber Eats, and they're just going to deliver stuff here. I'm never leaving this car because I had a plan and it got derailed. No, you get out of the freaking car and you figure out what you want to do. You might take a moment to be paralyzed. You could go ahead and get angry, whatever, but at some point you need to decide, okay, well, I have a choice now. I can either sit here or I can get out, and that's your next step, and in life, I feel like the more we realize that, like, our plans, as much as we like them to happen, may not happen the right way, that we need to be flexible and just to decide that, okay, whatever happens, there's something else here now. Okay, so if you think about this trip to Florida, we're on a new adventure now. We may not get to Disneyland. We may have stopped in Georgia. I don't know. But now we're on a complete, you could say this sucks. Or you go, okay, we're on a completely different journey now. This is a different adventure, because it really depends how you want to look at the car breaking down. It's really about how you
Yeah.
decide and label this what is happening in that moment.
Well, I really love this because I was actually having this conversation earlier with somebody. Is my internet cutting off?
No,
Oh,
I
okay.
hasn't
Okay,
on
good.
this end.
Okay, good. So I was actually having this conversation earlier. It was about, how is this working for me? How is this, rather than looking at the pain that may be involved? Because, I mean, it's valid. Some things in life feel not comfortable. Some things in life aren't fun to deal with.
Right.
Gratitude is not a bypass. Gratitude, as Chris is saying, is the ability to be flexible within a situation that you had your expectations not met. Ooh. And Chris, just take over for a second. Take on for
Okay.
a second.
Yeah. So, so the book is basically assisting people in a new definition of these words. And Bobby is the storyteller and I'm the stoic. So like I said, we alternate these words. It's a type of book that you could spend 26 days reading. You could just choose a letter a day. So if you wanted to sit down for 15 minutes a day for 26 days, that would be the book. Or you could just skip around if you wanted to. There's no order to it. You can do anything you want to, but it's a very simplistic thing you can sit down with. If it just for 5 minutes, you could just read over people's individual definitions, like evening nights, all the colors of the rainbow are unlimited possibilities. That's from CL. Evenings, as we get to reflect and relax on being grateful for a great day of living. So Debbie's back.
I'm back. Yes, power is necessary to continue the podcast. So we now have power. We are good.
Okay, that's good. Yes, that is
Yeah,
very important.
yes, huh. So there's a really good, there's a good example. When we rush through life, if we slow down for a moment to appreciate the small things, we find out that maybe that we're unplugged, and that it might be time to stop for a moment, ask somebody else to take over while you reset and plug back in. And plugging back in through the process of gratitude by reimagining what your awareness is looking like through the process of exploration into words and language is a brilliant pathway.
I agree. It's about restating. It's about being open and restating the possibility of words. So we just had a lot of fun putting it together. Bobby and I have been friends for 10 years, and this was something that just organically came up. We just started writing and shooting stuff back and forth, and then it became well, what are we going to do with this? We should just do something with it, and then it was like, okay, the whole forum came together, and it was very easy. And I would think Bobby and I are both in a place where if we can't enjoy what we're doing, we don't want to freaking do it. I don't care. I'm not going to enjoy it creatively. I don't want to do it because we only have the time in life, infinite amount of time. No, that's a very intentional statement I'm making, a very intentional thing. If I'm going to be creative, I want to enjoy it because if you're being creative, hoping someone's going to come and pat you on the back, you might get that pat on the back or you might not. But if you don't, you're going to feel like your creativity was wasted. You're not going to be happy. You're going to be stuck in the car. So why don't you build a life, if you're going to be creative, in getting out of the car? So being in control of that car. So like I said, if I don't enjoy what I'm doing, I don't want to do it, because at the end of the day, my time, the enjoyment of creating the book, the collaboration that comes out of creating a book with a friend and then putting it out and having, this is part of that collaboration, right? Because now Debbie and I are talking about this book, right? Do you see these things when you create things, when you're collaborating with other people, a lot of stuff happens you would never expect. And actually that's where the excitement is. If I didn't, originally Dear Gratitude Anthology years back, if I didn't put that book together and didn't have 50 people write for it and get it all together, if I didn't do all that, and it wasn't just me, like I said, there were 50 authors, my editor, I had a graphic, you know what I mean? I had to sit down. I sat down for 6 months and wrote 500 words a day to prove to myself that I would show up. You know what I mean? And if I didn't show up, I wouldn't have had something to give the editor when she showed up, right? Because all these things are collaborative and they're all moving. But if I hadn't done that, this book obviously wouldn't exist. because I realized I enjoyed the process of making books. I enjoy writing. I like putting stuff together. And as time moves on, I realized so much more how much I enjoy that. And I enjoy it so much that I'm accelerating the process because it's that much fun. Because again, if I'm going to create, I'm going to create for myself. And again, the time putting the book together and the things that come out of it, that's where the gold is. So people want to quit before they finish. Try to finish whatever it is and see what happens. You might not even like the creative process, but something's going to happen because you did something to create something. You're a little different now. In that context, you've created something else is existing in the world. So that's where I get excited. I get excited what happens afterwards, but I enjoy the process. The process is where all the enjoyment is.
Well, I love that. And I think that there's been a lot of things going around about trust the process, but I love that you're even taking it to a step further and saying that you're enjoying the process, that collaboration, co-creation, being in the energy of other human beings and doing something that's actually going to leave a heart print on the planet, something that people can use as a guide to be a better human, is rock star stuff right there, Chris. Let me tell you what.
Oh. Thanks. You know, that's the I like to call that the bonus.
That's the bonus. Well, you said you like the after. That's his bonus.
No, I mean, I'm saying the joy for me is the creative process. The joy for me is the physical book existing. This is the joy is it's physically existing. The bonus is that I do know that if somebody picks it up, I do know it will have a positive reflection in their lives. The bonus is I know that happens. I don't always know when it happens, but I know it can happen because without you putting that book on the shelf, it can't be read. So, you know what I mean? That's what it really comes down to. I know it's being read, and I know other things are going to come out of it because it exists. So I get jazzed about that.
I know that you're jazzed about that. I'm getting jazzed about that. So, hey, Chris, I'm going to play something. I'm going to cue it up, everybody. I'm going to share the screen again, and here we go. All right. And we are all the way up. Okay, everybody, here we go. Let me go back to the beginning. Ready? I'm not going to play the whole thing. Y'all are going to just need to go to the website, okay?
Okay, so we've got this new book to dive into, and I'm excited about this one.
Oh yeah. What's got you so intrigued?
Well, first of all, it's called Awareness Reimagined, Unlocking Joy Through Language, which right away, that title, I mean,
It definitely grabs your attention.
it does, right? And then, you know, it hits Amazon shelves on World Happiness Day, March 20th. So
Oh, nice. It's coming out soon.
yeah.
Well, it's already out,
Releasing it
everybody.
on World Happiness Day is a pretty clever move. It definitely sets the tone.
This is
for
Bobby's idea.
what readers can expect, right? The connection between awareness and joy.
That doesn't
Yeah,
surprise
totally.
me.
And you know what makes it even more exciting? One of the authors is someone we know.
Who?
Oh, really? Who is it?
It's Chris Palmore.
Oh,
You know,
Chris.
Oh, yeah, I remember that episode. His insights on gratitude were like mind-blowing.
yeah, they were. And he teamed up with Bobby Coots for this book.
Yeah,
And
he
they
did.
called Bobby the storyteller.
I love
Mhm.
that. The Gratitude Junkie
And the storyteller.
That's a pretty dynamic duo.
Love
Right.
it.
And it hints at the unique dynamic that we're going to be diving into.
I was going to say, it sounds like their writing styles would complement each other really well.
And you know what? It's not just Chris and Bobby. They actually brought in 4 other amazing voices: Lucy Bernas, Tara Coyote, Elaine Party, and Billy Short. Plus, there's a foreword by Ariadne Athanasiadis.
Wow. So it's like a collaboration, a chorus of perspectives.
Exactly. A wealth of perspectives, all coming together to explore this idea of awareness.
That's what I find so intriguing about these kinds of books, where you have like multiple authors. You get this kaleidoscope of viewpoints, you know.
So it's a literary mosaic.
Yeah, exactly. And it looks like they structured this book like an A to Z exploration of words, with Bobby and Chris sort of alternating between words that are generally seen as positive and then words that are, you know, often perceived as negative. Kind of like a ping pong match.
Yeah, it is. Like a literary ping pong match.
Bouncing back and forth between
Literally ping pong match.
It's literally a ping pong match. Ping.
Yeah.
Ping, ping.
Yeah.
So But everybody, so what the reason I wanted to play that is that if anybody's curious to take a little bit of a deeper dive, then please go over to your Apple podcast and is it under the Gratitude Space?
Yeah, it's Gratitude Space Radio.
Gratitude Space Radio. It's available on Apple and is it Spotify as well?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Okay,
There's about 4 of those actually, I think, on there. We did deep dives on each of the authors. So there's a lot as people want to. There's a good amount of listening that can be done there.
I totally love that. Do you ever like skip to the end of the book just because you're curious? I do that.
I don't think I've done that in a while. Well, no, I'm not really. I don't know if it. Yeah, I haven't done. I don't. No, I'm not a skip to the end person. I don't know.
I mean, I did that. I hated suspense, so I go to the end because But I just want to bring up a couple. There's some words in here that just like emotional sobriety. It's crucial to living a balanced life. Emotional sobriety, empathy. I'm grateful when I receive it, when I see it and witness it, and when I'm able to give it. Those are great. But I think that when you get towards the end, you guys, triumph, like the band, remember, magic power. Okay, you have to be really old to get that one, y'all. Chris isn't even as old as I am. Triumph is more than just a victory. It is a testament to the strength and perseverance of the human spirit. It represents the accumulation of hard work, determination, and grit, often achieved in the face of adversity. To be triumphant is to rise above challenges and emerge stronger, having learned and grown from the experience. See, because if you're implementing what Chris was saying about taking a word and shifting it into a different perspective, how is this working for me? There's a good chance that your life is going to be triumphant, which is to rise above challenges and emerge stronger. Again, having learned and grown from the experience. And that, I think, is the key. But how that we choose to see and perceive the experience is also how our growth perspective is going to look. I mean, we're going to grow either way. It might be painful either way, but I think it's less painful when we add some gratitude juice in. We drink our
For sure.
So tell me about unlimited potential.
Unlimited potential. Okay. With let's see here.
Well, it says here that it reminds us that anything is possible.
Mm-hmm.
Let's expand.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, that's somebody's gratitude quote that we pulled out there. I mean, the word unlimited potential. So, I actually, part of my gratitude, my journal in the morning is I am grateful for endless possibilities. So I think that's kind of reading there too. And that's an open stance type of thing. So I like to think that anything can happen, and I'm good with that. I think anything can happen. I'm good with that. I'm excited about the possibilities of any day that I'm just I like the entropy in the world, the craziness. That you can meet somebody the other day, my friend Lee I haven't talked to in 3 years, right? We got on a call together, and the last time I talked to him, I did a birthday gratitude thing with him, and we talked in 2022, and he told me that in the last year that he had a friend who had cancer and ended up passing away, and he was expressing to me that because of stuff I've shared with him in our conversations, that he was ever present with her, and that he took the time to be there for her because of gratitude. Like that was his reason, that he it's almost like all these little things, and he felt like he just received the message. And that's that endless possibilities. I haven't talked to him in 3 years. If I didn't start the podcast, I would never have done a birthday gratitude episode with him, which is something you know what I mean? Which was part of that connection, as having a very deep conversation. If I didn't go to New York and do gratitude, do that tour up there, I wouldn't have met with him again. I obviously, us going back to Savannah, but I mean, these endless possibilities are you meet people, you have connections, stuff comes back around, or it doesn't. But the more the more you create, the more you put stuff out, the more connections, the more possibilities of things. But it's really a creative mindset. It really is. So the more you create, the more you put out, the more you connect with people, the more magic you see in the world.
I agree
I've
with that.
gotten off on I feel like I've left a tangent of what we were talking about. So
Well, actually, you didn't, because
okay.
we were talking. Well, no, because we're talking about unlimited possibilities. We're talking about
Mhm.
the magic that gratitude is, which is like gratitude's joy's belly button or belly
There you
button.
go.
Yeah. And it just, because when you push it and it giggles, because that's what gratitude does. It shifts everything from limited thinking, limited
Right.
outlooks. Shit. Oh my God, my life sucks. I need a ambulance and a victim emergency butthurt kit to, oh, the this might be happening for me. And oh, if I lose my attachment to the outcome with some gratitude juice, I can possibly have unlimited possibility.
Yeah.
Because if you ever notice, Chris, like when we cap it, we cap it with our expectations. We put a cap on creativity. We put a cap on what is possible by having expectations to the outcome.
Right. And
I,
that it's a
I, I've been,
roadblock. It's a
I do
freaking
this.
road. It's people's roadblock. It's their stop sign. Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stop.
Expectations. Yep. Unmet expectations. Yep.
Oh God. Okay. So expectations literally lead to failure. No, I mean, every sadness I've ever had is due to an expectation I had on somebody else.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Chris, it's not on myself. My expectations on myself, I seem to come through. I'm like glorified in my coming through with that. But when I look at somebody else, it's like, I bet you're not meeting my expectation. And it's a huge heartbreak. Instead of the appreciation of the small itty bitty baby things that people do in life just to be cool, just because they're human, just because they're extraordinary, just because they're breathing.
Mm-hmm.
And the gratitude shift helps us to see our stuckedness in the expectation, I think. What do you think?
Yeah, well, yes. I remember Bobby years and years ago driving home to me the idea that to say it's either this or something better, and this is normally what the expectation is. But when that isn't met, if you can take a breath and go or something better,
Or something better?
you can pivot and be present for a moment to possibly take whatever happened differently, because
I
it's
just love
your
that.
choice. It's your choice what you want to do. And you know, when he told me that, it was back in 2016, and I think it was either when I was in New York doing Gratitude New York, or it was before I went there. And I set up this big concert, right? I set up a big
Yeah.
concert. I had a guy fly in from LA, and we got this big ass venue called the Muse, where it could have like 1,000 people, and all this stuff set up, right? All this stuff, all this build up. And you know, I'm charging this, you know, I was charging all this stuff. And you know, there we are in New York, and I get there, and the guys, Samuel Jay's there, amazing musician. And I think there were 15 people that showed up.
Okay.
So where I'm going with this is I had big expectations for this, and in that moment, I definitely could have been very upset. I could have completely decided before the show started that this is awful. This is a failure. And if you put the parameters of what I told you and what I was doing, that would be obvious.
I could
But
see that.
but
But
because I had this idea of this or something better, I realized that I had just set up the most magical concert I was ever going to be witnessing, because
wow.
this was supposed to be a big deal. And now there were 15 of us, and we're on couches and like chairs in this guy for this concert. And it was absolutely amazing.
Wow. So
You following me?
so you took the shift from your expectation of what you wanted it to look like to experiencing intimate moments with other human beings that were unforgettable in every
And
way.
I'm just saying, I was there and I realized that this was supposed to be a big thing, and now it was an intimate thing. Do you understand? There's a huge difference between walking into an experience, but then we actually became part of the experience because of how few people were there. And he was absolutely amazing, and it was absolutely amazing. And I remember I looked at him and I said, I said, best money ever spent, because I didn't make any money at the door.
Yeah.
All that was, all that was charged. My mentor Thomas Kalopoulos, after he stopped in, but he was heading to the airport, and I can't remember. I think it was, I don't know if it was that day or the next day, but he just said, Chris, he's like, he just gifted me the cost of the venue to offset that price.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
he just did that. I don't know if it was just out of the kindness of his heart. So, I still, it didn't offset everything, but it was a big offset. And it was a huge gift that I did not foresee, but he understood what I was attempting to do. And even though he didn't get to see the concert, he was very gracious and very giving, as he's always been to me. So anyways, about expectation shifting, you can, I'm sure a lot of people could go, they met the person they're with because of an expectation shift, and that's normally your heart's broken. You didn't, you got divorced. I could get into being divorced, and we could tell long stories about that. We don't need to. But I would, looking back, even though that was troubling, it was the best thing for me. It didn't feel like it at the time. It was rough, but it was actually the best thing for me because it led me to another room, to where I am now. And I love the person I am now. I love the people I'm with, and I love what I'm doing. And it wouldn't be this way if that relationship hadn't ended.
Correct. I fully understand where you're going with that one. I also know that I love the way you explained it. That if you hadn't taken a shift, you wouldn't have went through another door. That you wouldn't have seen the other door because you're too busy going in. Have you ever seen those in New York? I know they have them. I've seen them in, I haven't been to New York, but I've seen them in movies where they have those.
Yeah, the door, the rotating door, revolving door.
The revolving door. And I think that when we're in resistance, that we're constantly going through the revolving door of what if we could do this? What if I could do that better? What if I, when we finally release the attachment to the outcome, the expectation, the idea of what we think something should be, then creation is able to step in, source, God, whatever you all choose to label, is able to step in and with you as a co-creator, build something so much more powerful than you ever could have imagined. Awareness Reimagined. So within that structure, you have a choice. It's either let go and allow life to be unlimited potential, or keep going around and around and around and around. And I'm going to tell you, I get dizzy just thinking about going around and around. I just don't. I just like, no, I think that spinning is only fun sometimes, but not all the time. And I think we have to get off of the wheel. Let go. Let go. What happens when we hold on to something too tight?
You lose it. It breaks. Your hands. Yeah, it's again trying to control outcomes. I think, see, that's where gratitude comes in. If you're in a spiral, gratitude allows you to take a breath, to take a break from that spiral. Doesn't mean it's going to take you out of it, but people need to take a breather, and that's where shifting focus. That's the power in gratitude, is to be able to shift focus. It's not going to shift. It's not going to make you forget the other thing. It's just going to give you a breather from it. Again, it assists you getting through it. It doesn't get you through it. It assists you. It's not a pill that you take it, now you're Superman and you've broken out. That doesn't happen. And I think people try to play into that, and that's not the gratitude that I talk about. That's not the gratitude I preach or I practice. Gratitude I practice is gratitude's with me, that assists me getting through things. So for example, I like to think of like, people go, well, the window closed, and the reason you're not seeing the door open is because you're too focused on the window. And that's
Right.
where gratitude allows you to stop focusing on the window for a second. You might see a door, you might see people in the room, you might
Right.
go get some water, I don't know, but you're going to take a break from staring at the wall, because thinking of things we can't change that hurt us is not healthy. It doesn't mean you're not going to do it, and I'm not perfect, but it's about knowing you can take a break. It's about getting out of that spiral, that door, right? It's allowing, there is an outside. We can step out. Hey, step back in. That's fine. Just take a break,
The
then
pattern,
that's
it's
the
a pattern
system.
interrupt. It's a pattern interrupt.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, it interrupts the pattern, and it interrupts the spiral. If you're going down the spiral, as Trust Your Abundance, David Strickle teaches, when we're down our spiral, or Abraham Hicks teaches about the emotional spiral, and using gratitude as a shift, as the momentum to shift and get something moving in a different direction. We're taking a pattern interrupt, because our nervous systems, when we're stuck in fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, we're stuck. And when we're stuck, our eyes aren't moving. We're staring, just like you said, straight ahead at the window, straight ahead at your phone, straight ahead at anything that's keeping you just right here. What you're talking about is the shift to openness.
Right. You get almost out of a trance, and it isn't. And again, I'm not. I've spent a lot of years, and I'm not. I've spent a lot of time in the trance. And it doesn't mean that I don't get stuck in there occasionally, but I can totally 100% say the more that you practice gratitude, the more that you make it part of your daily habit. That's where, like, the gratitude infusions are a light tap in the morning where you can take the moment or not to shift focus. It's exactly what we're talking about. And it's not abrasive. And the great thing is it shows up regardless if you want to set an alarm, open a book or not. It's there. You're going to look at your phone and you get to take it or not. But the more time that we practice this habit, the less amount of time we're going to be stuck in that funnel. You're going to get out of the funnel faster. Doesn't mean you're not going to fall in the funnel, because life happens, stuff happens. It's always going to happen. You're always, there's no perfect game. There really is only, how can you get better at the game? How can I have, how can I finish better? How can I act better in the situation? And again, it doesn't mean that you're going to hit a home run. It just means you're going to bounce back faster. It's going to be easier to step away and out of that doorway we keep talking, the revolving door. It's going to be easier to exit. And as we said before, life is not infinite. This time, we have so much time to live, learn, and love.
Correct.
I would like to spend more time doing that than in the revolving door. And the more I practice, the less time I spend in the revolving door, and the more time I spend creating, caring, and loving, and being present.
Okay, so those are all really good points. I kind of love that. When we're getting into the choices, it's a choice. It's a decision. You're saying, if you choose to see this maybe a little bit differently, it might make it easier, is what I heard you say. And if you choose gratitude, it's not a spoonful of sugar help the medicine go down. If you all hadn't seen Mary Poppins, it helps the medicine go down. And gratitude's like your spoonful of sugar, and it's helping it go down, because sometimes things are hard to swallow, especially when you're talking about major life changes, especially when you're talking change period, because all of us don't look at change and go, oh, yeah, baby. Can I just jump in the change train? Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, we don't usually do that. We usually say, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and skip that one. I'll just go ahead and wait for the next train. But see, the fact is that we don't get a choice, because Chris, you also said life is not infinite. We're infinite. We are infinite divine beings, but our physical bodies are only going to be here for a short time. And I agree with you. And so this perspective shift, the change, because life is going to change. Everything's temporary.
Yep. Everything's temporary.
So appreciation is fuel. Appreciation is fuel.
There you go. Mm-hmm.
It just fuels the trajectory of instead of focusing on the stuff I hate, the stuff I can't stand, the things that really rub my ego edging God out so royally. Oh, you mean I can shift that and maybe see it like with some LOVE?
Well, that makes me it makes me think. There you go.
Some love, some love, some love. See, this is the kind of train we need, the love
The
train.
love train.
Choo choo, get on the love train. Make a choice to get on your love train and use gratitude, because gratitude's your ticket. Gratitude's like the e-ride at Disneyland a long time ago. Boy, do I love to age myself. But seriously, it is the love train. Only way to get onto that is through the fuel of appreciation, the process of gratitude, and getting yourselves into a book that's going to encourage a different way to see the language that you're using. And I think that this is really the most important factor, in that, how are you speaking? I love it. I opened it up and it says onward, because we're on the train now. Did y'all get on the train with me? Just let me know if you got on the train. Onward. Great. Toot, toot. Grateful for the strength to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Forward motion, forward motion, forward motion. Open, 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 open your perspectives. I love that. Okay, Chris, we could talk about gratitude forever.
Yeah, I wanted to add to what you were saying there, because it just reminded me, these. I really do like the metaphor we're running with the rotating door is being depression or whatever whatever you're stuck in. It's not allowing you to be present. That's what we're talking about, is being present, and it takes you out of presence. So, for example, I have such a good life, and my wife and my dad are the two most loved people in my entire life, that are alive. And I am so fortunate to have my wife living here with me, and my father lives in the condo next door. And I'm mentioning this because, for example, we went last night and watched a TV show at my dad's house, which we just go next door and we watch something. And where I'm going with this is, if I was on that revolving door, right? So if I was thinking about something else in a depressive state, I couldn't enjoy the presence of just being in a room with the two people I love the most, right? Because mentally I would be checked out. Now, I'm pointing this out for one last reason. I have it so good because knowing everything changes, knowing nothing will ever be, everything changes, means that I won't always be able to go next door and watch TV with my dad and my wife. That will not always happen. That is not something that is eternal. So when I show up and I'm not there, I'm almost defacing. I'm basically not taking advantage of something so beautiful, something so personal, because I'm so caught in my head. And gratitude allows you to think this way. You got to know. And I was talking to my friend Lee too. I was like, hey, man, life is good. Let's think life is good, because it will change. I said, right now, Lee, I said, your girls live in your house. You get to say goodnight to them, because they came in when we were talking. I go, that's beautiful, man. He's like, I know. I go, it won't always be like that, because they are supposed to grow up and move out. Yeah. They will not always be there. And then you will enjoy them in a different way, but it's not, you know what I mean? Right now, we need to be present. And that's what gratitude does. It allows us to be present for the people we love, and with them, and create memories that we appreciate. And that these memories are our lifeline, and how our life at the end of our life is our memories, right? It's what you remember. That's how you feel. Aging is about memory, and realizing that these moments are special, even if it's watching the same TV show every night with the people. It's special because it will not always happen. That will not, and I won't be here for it, or they, you know what I mean? It's not always going to happen. So these are the moments, and there. All right, there we go.
Chris, I love that. The gift of gratitude is the present that presence gives you.
Yep.
And I really dig it. And I want to I'd like to take a moment to honor somebody who isn't here any longer. And that is Wayne Zwick, the father of my children. Today, is his Earth birthday, and he has been gone for 9 years. And what you're saying, Chris, is so real, because everything is so temporary. And we remember who they were to us and the gift they were. But can we also remember the moments that we don't want to ever let go of because they were a gift? The remembrance of the human being that was here, the gift in just this. And by you talking about the temporary life, the temporary physical life, brings us forward to the moment where we can appreciate those who have also already left. Grief gives us the opportunity to find gratitude, and the gratitude in grief is reminding us that it's time to experience life and to live. And what I heard you say is that I'm not always going to get these moments. And the fact of the matter is we're not going to always get those moments. And if we're stuck in the muck and too busy feeling sorry for ourselves about how bad our life is, chances are we're going to miss a really good opportunity to experience love and experience joy, experience and stop for a moment and just take in somebody else's eyes, take in their heart, leave a heart print on the planet. And I encourage everybody to think about the fact that when you step outside of your house, when you are on the phone, when that person's calling and you think you don't have 5 damn seconds right now to give to them, you pick it up and you do it anyway. And you say, hi, you matter to me. Gratitude leads us down the pathway of you matter. It also can be used towards self. I matter. Grateful beingness is a space that we can exist in. It's not a goal, it's a place that we can be present in, grateful beingness. And if we have awareness that has been reimagined, and listen, this is cakewalk stuff. This stuff is easy peasy lemon squeezy compared to complaining about how bad it might be. The opportunity to stop and see somebody differently is an opportunity that you do not want to pass by. And that's what I know for sure, because today we celebrate somebody's life that on earth is no longer here. A very important person, too. So thank you for bringing that up, Chris, because I think it's just vital.
You're welcome, and thank you for sharing that with me. You know, my mom passed away. Her anniversary was April 30th. So,
Yeah.
that's something that it's been 11 years, and it's crazy to. It's good. It's healthy to remember and think about these things and the impermanence of life. And hopefully, the more it's a very healthy thing. I feel like the more we think of the impermanence of life, the more we can be present. It assists us in being present and taking advantage of being selfish to appreciate and be present for these moments, because they're going to pass us by. You know, it's going to happen. You go. We don't remember a lot of things at all, but if you sit in a moment and you remember thinking, hey, if you really go, this is special because I know it will not be like this. You're actually imprinting that. You're making that moment special. Do you understand? You're making it special. You're making it a mundane thing that anybody can look at and go, you guys are watching TV.
Yeah.
Yes, but we're together. Don't you understand? That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about us being together, because this is not always going to happen.
It's not always going to happen.
It's not. It is. Yeah, it's people live like it is. It's not. Let's be present as much as we can, because it's that important.
It is that important. And, you know, in all things, we can choose to see it differently. In all things, a perspective shift can happen. And this is all things. I have had to shift, Chris, I've had to shift my perspective on things you wouldn't even possibly imagine. Oh my word. Because I am so very human. I could give you a million examples where gratitude has shifted how I see something or someone. And I understand that life is real, life happens. There's real things that happen, but what we're talking about is a restructuring of even your nervous system by implementing something as easy peasy as flipping gratitude.
Right.
I mean, seriously. But I was pretty serious, Chris, about the fact that if people do not, they are more than welcome to have this. This is the emergency butt hurt kit. Some tissues for your issues, a hemorrhoidal pad for your butt hurt ass to sit down on, and please keep yourself away from humans while using. And I highly encourage, if you're going to use the emergency butt hurt kit, that you keep it to yourself and you write in the journal all of the ways in which you can shift your perspective. Because focusing on what other people are doing isn't going to help you. The reason things happen in your life, hi, Debbie Mahoney, I see you. The reason things happen in your life is for you to ask yourself, how may this serve me? How may this serve me? And if we're too focused on our external circumstances, then we're not being of service. We're not doing anything for anyone else. And what I loved is we started off with the creative process. And in that creative process, it means that we are absolutely being of service by sharing other things for other humans so that they can do human a little easier. Because it's human. And I don't know about you, but it can be a bitch. If we have to have gratitude. If we don't have gratitude, we're in trouble. And we're going to need an emergency butthurt kit.
Well, and when you're creating these things, the first person that gets the enjoyment and the absolute most out of it is you. So, going back to, if I'm creating this book and writing, I'm actually, I'm thinking about these things and I'm writing about them and I'm living in them, and it's a good place to live. It's, again, another reminder. I'm reminding myself, right? The best way the best way to learn something is you to teach it to somebody else. So when you sit down to create and you're creating from a passion place that's, say, gratitude fueled like mine, it's just me practicing my craft, and my craft elevates my life and everyone around me and makes me appreciate the life I have. And it doesn't mean that things are perfect. It just means that I'm going to step up and it's going to be easier for me to get by the things that aren't easy. Because we're all, if we get the gift to live at an old age, a lot of people in our lives are not.
No, they're not going to.
They're not, and they haven't.
They're not.
And even at yours and my age, right? So it's like,
Totally.
It's a gift. It's a gift. And grieving is a gift too. Like you said, the reason you grieve so much is because you had it so good. That's what I like to remind, my whole thing is like, the reason I miss my mom so much is because she loved me so much. Would I change her not loving me so I wouldn't be grieving? No freaking way. And that's where that is, right? So it's realizing that you had it so good. That's why you're grieving. You had it so good. And life's not, we got to take advantage of the time we have. And I know it's almost an hour. Speaking of time we have. We
are at an hour, but I'd like to really talk about what's on the screen right now. It's called Gratitude Infusion. What you do is you text 502-289-6799, and you want to text joy25, joy25. And what that's going to do is give you a healthy dose of gratitude every single morning and remind you that, hey, wait a minute, have I taken a moment to breathe? Have I taken a moment to reflect? Have I taken a moment to reset? Have I taken a moment to reimagine what my life could be? Unlimited potential. You guys, this has been all about Awareness Reimagined, and you can unlocking joy through language. Bobby Coots and Chris Palmore. You guys can find this at gratitudespace.com, gratitudespace.com. I'm going to go ahead and bring it right back up. Gratitudespace.com right here is floating
under books, or you can go to Amazon and type in Chris Palmore.
Actually, you know what? I can
see I got about 12 books in there. So there's other things too. If this isn't pulling on your strings, I'm sure you'll find something in that list.
Oh, he has got some good ones. I'm going to go ahead and put the Amazon link right into the chat. For those of you that are watching now and watching later, please go and buy the book. Also, please check out Chris's other books. They are phenomenal. His Stoic, remind me of the title. I apologize.
It's The Stoic's Guide to Joy, 30 Days to Love Your Life.
Okay, Stoic Guides to Joy, 30 Days to Love Your Life. It's an excellent book. We've talked about this before, and I really highly encourage you all to go get it. Plus, I want you to just take a look at all of the different books that Chris has to offer. Please check back again, because we are going to be coming back on another episode with both authors and maybe one or two others. We don't really know. But please do
That's a great
tune back
idea.
in. I think it is a great idea,
Great
Chris.
idea. So you got, yes. Let's make that happen.
I love it. So everybody, until then, stay in joy by implementing some of the things that Chris has shared here today. Implement gratitude, because that right there is what's going to get you the life that you actually enjoy. That's what I'm thinking.
Thank you, Debbie. It's been wonderful. Appreciate it. Thank you for She sponsored some of the Gratitude Infusions too. She's one of the donators that make it possible to gift this to thousands of people. So thank you so much.
You're so welcome, because it totally rocks. All right. Bye-bye.